Coming up in today's video, we are going to be talking about a huge story surrounding Chris Jericho and his next move, potentially in TNA. Also, we are going to talk about some possible TNA departures, and we are going to take a look at some huge news surrounding the WWE tape library. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. This way you never miss a video on the channel. Let's talk about WWE and Peacock. It's been confirmed. WWE is leaving Peacock at the end of the month. The tape library is going bye-bye. Now, this is obviously bittersweet because nobody really knows what's happening with the WWE archives. Nobody has any inkling. There's rumors that ESPN is interested, but we don't have confirmation on that. And then when you look at WWE and what they did with Netflix, we were expecting more episodes of Raw being added to the archive of Netflix, but that hasn't necessarily happened, and that rollout has been less than fluid. And then Peacock in general, while it was a big success for WWE and for NBC, I don't think it was anywhere quite near the level of the WWE network, which, let's just be real, for what it is, the WWE network was the best when it came to WWE's PLE's access and the archives and content, and WWE hasn't necessarily replicated that at all. And so the rumor right now, the speculation is that maybe WWE is going to be just putting their archived footage on YouTube. As you guys may have seen throughout the last year or so, WWE was launching the WWE Vault and WCW YouTube channel, and then there's like ECW content, and maybe WWE is gearing up to put all of its footage on the archives of YouTube. Maybe they're going to sell the rights to ESPN. Maybe they'll sell the rights to another provider. Hell, you know, WWE is very smart, and they understand that people are willing to spend money for WWE's properties. We've seen billions of dollars get poured into WWE shows. Who's to say somebody doesn't offer a very large amount of money for the tape library to be somewhere else? Who's to say Netflix doesn't want the entire WWE archive? And who's to say Netflix doesn't pay a very large sum of money for it? Listen, in a perfect world, I would prefer WWE's tape library being on Netflix. It's the #1 streaming service. Almost everybody has access to it. The truth is, Netflix having archived WWE footage would be great, and I think it would be the move that actually makes the most sense for WWE. Now, of course, who knows what they're going to do? I would prefer it on Netflix over ESPN. I think this is just going to go to the higher bidder, but at the end of the year, no more WWE archive footage will be public, and then I'm sure at some point in 2026, WWE will make an announcement. So as always, make sure you're subscribed because I'll keep you guys updated when that is revealed. That brings us to our next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about it. A possible TNA departure. No, not just one possible departure. It looks like it could be many. Obviously, TNA has this new TV deal, which is phenomenal news. And this is such a big deal for TNA. It's such a big deal for wrestling. It's such a big deal for its fans. However, we have a report from Fightful Select that basically has quite a few names attached regarding their contract status. So, for example, Mustafa Ali, AJ Francis, Jake Something, The Rascals, Jody Threat, and Steve Macklin, all of their contracts are up within the next month. Additionally, several notable names are currently working without a deal with TNA, and that includes Matt Cardona, Rich Swann, The Inspiration, and Cedric Alexander. The report does note that TNA is expected to hold talks regarding extensions within the next week. Now, Fightful has also reported that the delay wasn't entirely TNA's choice. A couple of talents explicitly stated that they wanted to wait until a new television deal was officially announced before entering negotiations with TNA. So right now, TNA is in a very, very interesting spot because we don't know what's going to happen, man. We don't know who's going to resign, who won't resign. But the truth is, the roster in 2026, the AMC era, very well could look different. That is crazy to think about. It is honestly crazy to think about. When you look at TNA and you look at what they have to offer, now with more money than ever, some of these names are names that you should be trying to keep. AJ Francis, Mustafa Ali, Jake Something. immediately I would be trying to tie them down into long-term contracts. The Rascals are a tag team that I think a lot of people are curious to see, with Myron Reed and Wesley, Desmond Xavier, and Zachary Wentz. Like, I would be trying to build around them going into AMC. But there's also rumors that AEW is interested. So that's another thing. Matt Cardona is not tied to a contract at all. He's on a per appearance deal. That's kind of concerning. Rich Swann, another one. Like, these are names that you should be having. The Inspiration not being signed to a contract. Cedric Alexander, people working per appearance deals. Something about that is a little strange. But obviously TNA was kind of in a different position. They didn't have the TV deal yet. So we'll see what the roster ends up looking like. I do think to a certain extent TNA is going to be in a tricky spot because you're not going to re-sign everybody. Not everybody will be retained. But you're going to have to You're going to have to bolster up that roster. You're going to have to improve that roster and improve creative. You're going to have to put money back into the brand. That is what I'm expecting. So obviously as people get, their new contracts, whatever it may be, I'll keep you guys updated. So make sure you stay tuned. And speaking of contracts, we should probably talk about this guy, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a guy who, quite frankly, a lot of people are excited to see what he does. A lot of people are excited to see where he goes, where he ends up. He's speaking publicly for the first time, and he's actually saying that he will be in a wrestling ring in 2026. He's not confirming AEW. He's not confirming WWE. He's not confirming TNA. We know that there's rumors of him going to TNA. We've known there's rumors of him going to WWE. But I want to talk about this because these are rumors, and rumors are sometimes they're fun to tinker with. But can we open up our eyes and imagine a scenario where maybe Chris Jericho does leave AEW and doesn't actually go to WWE for a retirement angle? Chris Jericho, recently was talking about Bound for Glory looking like the second biggest company. He was praising a lot of TNA. Before he went to AEW, there was a lot of praise for TNA. Obviously Chris Jericho in his situation with TNA, he's never been there, but imagine AMC Network and Chris Jericho is leading the group. Something about that is intriguing to me. What if Chris Jericho does return to WWE, but part of that means, hey, I want to work in TNA? What about that? So there's a lot of strong rumors here that maybe Chris Jericho is gone from AEW. To be honest with you, I don't think it makes sense for him to be in AEW. And congratulations to AEW to getting to the point where they don't need to rely on Chris Jericho. He was very instrumental in their growth. Without Chris Jericho, who knows if AEW would have even got a big TV deal. But he was there from the beginning. It was necessary. Now they've built a strong company where they don't need him. Does WWE really need Chris Jericho? No, not really. But if you're going to do the retirement storyline, okay, that makes sense. But TNA having Chris Jericho, especially on AMC Network, it changes the game significantly. So we'll obviously see what happens. He doesn't shy away for his love for TNA. He's never shied away about what the industry needs, which is why he went to AEW, which is why he went to New Japan. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw him in TNA. Even if that meant him signing with WWE, but then working both as part of the partnership. Chris Jericho is in his retirement run. Whatever Chris Jericho wants to do, Chris Jericho is going to do. But I'm excited about this because I think this is a guy, despite his age, he's still very talented. He's still very enjoyable to watch. And he's still a legend. I hope his career ends in a good way. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.